pitched in 8 points each. Leading the way for the Vikings this season is Erickson, who is averaging nearly 12 points per game. He's followed by Gibson, who pitches in just over 10 points per game, while 6'1" senior Noah Heidorn adds an additional 8.5 points per game. The leading rebounder for the Vikings is Gibson, who averages 5.5 boards per game. Now, the Spring Valley Cardinals are 10-2 and in first place in the Dunn St. Croix Conference, 13-3 overall. The Cardinals haven't lost since that loss to the Vikings back on January 19th. They're averaging 53 points per game while giving up 45. That compares with the Vikings, who average 52 points per game and giving up 60. On Friday night, the Cardinals defeated the Elmwood Plum City Wolves 51-33. The Spring Valley Cardinals are led in scoring by 6'2" junior guard Tyler Bowman, who's putting up nearly 16 points per game. Also contributing to the Cardinals' scoring is 6'3" senior forward Connor Ducklow, who adds nearly 14 points per game, while the leading rebounder for the Cardinals is 6'1" senior forward Nolan Stans, who pulls down nearly 7 boards per game. Now, coming up next right after this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Mark Knoll on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. Changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, what they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Today we're talking with Vikings boys head coach Mark Knoll. And Coach, last Friday the Vikings ran into what could be referred to simply as a brick wall in the Mondovi Buffaloes and suffered a pretty tough 82-37 loss. Since we weren't available to cover that game, can you fill us in on what happened?
Yes, I can. Well, ultimately what happened is throughout the day we had 2 kids ended up where they were not able to go and play in the game, and 2 of them are just 2 big pieces for our team. So 2 of our starters were not able to go. And I think the kids were worried about that all day long and thinking about it. And so we had to – and when you have 2 starters that are gone, now and especially one of them being your point guard, everyone's roles had to adjust in what they do for our team. And basically we had to use our 2 leading scorers as our main ball handlers for most of it against a very aggressive 1-3-1 half-court trapping defense. And honestly, we could not attack that defense. We just had a hard time with it. We had a lot of turnovers that led to wide open layups for them. And that's where the game kind of went. And then at halftime, we settled down, I guess, or competed a little harder, if you want to say. And the second half, it was a 24-24 in the second half. And it was the same starters against theirs. And so it wasn't like we did that against their bench. It was the same kids playing against each other.
Okay. Well, tonight the job doesn't get any easier as the Vikings take on the first place Spring Valley Cardinals. But that's a team that you pulled off a stunning upset against 53-51 when you played them back in Colfax. Now, I'm sure the Cardinals would like to avenge that loss. What can you tell us about the challenges they present?
Well, obviously they're winning the conference, as you said. They only have 2 conference losses, and we gave them one of them. They are a super long athletic team that's a very disciplined team and a very well-coached team where the coach has been there for 32 years, I believe, something like that. So that's a team it's a big challenge in front of us, but it's a challenge that we do welcome, especially having all of our kids back tonight. And we know that if we can do the little things that we need to do, that we can be competitive in this game. Yes, we know that Spring Valley is going to bring their best because they're playing for a conference championship. With 2 games left, they have a 1-game lead. And so that's what they're playing for. So a lot's on the line for them. Yesterday, and I don't know if you're going to ask this or not, but yesterday the seedings came out for the regional, and they got the number 2 seed. Fall Creek got the number 1. Eau Claire Regis got the 3. We got the 4. The 5 is Augusta, and 6 is Cadott. And with that said, we get to host the first round game versus Augusta on the 16th. And if we win, then we'll play Fall Creek, who's the number 1 seed. I honestly thought Spring Valley had a great shot at getting the number 1 seed. It came down to Fall Creek and Spring Valley. So that's the kind of team that they're recognized as being as one of the top teams in the area. And yes, we did beat them last time. And I've talked to their coach a number of times, and he gave us a lot of praise for that win.
And you know that's bulletin board material for them, and they're going to be loaded for bear when they come to play, or when you guys come to their place tonight.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I try to tell our kids all the time. You should accept those challenges and accept that challenge and want to go out and see what you can do against one of the top teams in the area. And that's where I was
that's why you play the game, right? It's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about, is getting those big opportunities to play against the top teams.
Now, the Vikings have won 2 out of the last 3 games, but still seem to struggle somewhat against those top-tier teams. What do the boys need to do to be successful against that top level?
Well, and the teams that we've struggled against, honestly, Elk Mound, Mondovi, Durand, they've played zone against us. The teams that have played man are the teams that we beat. Spring Valley played us a man, and they're the best team in the conference. But we were able to execute against them and win. And against Spring Valley, or against Boyceville and Glenwood City, they played man. We were able to beat them. The Elmwood Plum City played us man too, and we split with them. We beat them once, we lost them once, and then when we lost, it was like a 3-4 possession game with about 3 minutes left, and we ended up losing by 9 or 11. But that was a very close game.
So what Viking player should we look to step up tonight?
I want to see I would say mainly Noah and Tanner, Drew, Caden, and then Nate and Tristan off the bench. I'd say those probably kids are the first ones that we need really good games from those kids. And then the next level is Hunter and Albright. Then we need those guys to step up and just be solid.
Okay. Now, are there any Viking injuries or illnesses that we should be aware of?
No, tonight we should be at full strength there, which will be nice to have everyone there.
Well, Coach Noel, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings will be able to get back on that winning track and finish this conference season with a winning record.
Yeah, we're at 7 or 6-6 or 7-7. I can't remember which one it is. So we're at 500 right now, and we really want to win one of these last 2 games to be at 500.
Well, good luck tonight, Coach. We'll take them one at a time and get that record as best we can.
All right, thank you.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, with a look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. The Vikings are looking to show that some teams simply match up well with other teams and cause those other teams all kinds of trouble. They want to show that that game on January 19th, where the Vikings defeated the Cardinals 53-51 on a last-second shot, was a sign of just such a matchup, and they fully intend to do the same tonight. Now, on the other hand, the Spring Valley Cardinals would like to exact some revenge on the Vikings for that loss, something they haven't done since that game. So the stage is set for some exciting high school boys basketball, and we'll remotely have all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Now, in just a moment, I'll be heading over to our other studio to join my colleague Dan Petchow, as we'll remotely bring you all the action of tonight's boys' game between the Colfax Vikings and Spring Valley. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm going to drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
I've taken 25 selfies in the last 10 minutes.
26.
Yep, I'm definitely going to call a ride home.
You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Light Colfax Viking basketball.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. This is a serious problem, but one we can solve. Visit feedingamerica.org to help. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're feeding America.
NLWN-TV is excited to present NWARCI's Racing Action. Next Saturday, February 13th, we will present racing from Cal's Resort on Rock Dam Lake in Willard, Wisconsin. Join us at 10:45 a.m. from Rock Dam Lake in Willard. If internet bandwidth issues prevent us from getting a signal out of Rock Dam Lake, we will air the races at 11 a.m. on Sunday, February 14th. These races are sponsored by Cal's Rock Dam Resort in Willard. That's NWARCI's Racing Action on Saturday, February 13th on NLWN-TV. Colfax Viking basketball is on the air.
Over to Heidorn, drives down the left side, lays it up and in. And the Vikings draw first blood.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV proudly presents tonight's Colfax Viking boys varsity basketball game.
Underneath the reback, lays it up and puts it in.
Great pass by Noah Heidorn.
Join us as we head out to the gym for tonight's Viking basketball.
Back out high to Gibson, three-pointer on the way, off the front of the iron, rolls around and in. That hit the rim about 4 different places before it decided to go down and in.
And welcome to the studios of NLWN-TV as we're waiting for the feed to come from Spring Valley. And it should be coming up any time now. I'm expecting it, and so we do have the game tonight. They had the live feed coming very nicely for the JV game and the C team game. Didn't work out so well for the JV team, worked out a little better for the C team, and hopefully it works out a whole bunch better for the varsity. And Dan, it's a big game tonight. You know what it is? It is our last remote broadcast.
We're back on live court.
Thursday, yeah. What do you see for keys for tonight's game?
Yeah, for Colfax, here's my keys. First thing what I want to see is keep Spring Valley off the boards. They're going to try to get second chance points and crash it. Colfax has to box out tonight. And they got to try to stay out of foul trouble. You don't want Spring Valley getting any easy points off, free throws. That's going to be a big thing.
Well, and granted, I'm going over to the girls' side to talk about this, but Coach Serrar made a comment about that you can't guard free throws.
Right. Yep, that's games to be won or lost by that.
And they've got to do something to shut down both Bowman and Ducklow for the Spring Valley Cardinals, and that's going to be what's going to make a difference. Vikings have done it to these guys once, so maybe it's going to be one of those kinds of matchups where on paper it probably shouldn't happen, but you just have the right combination of the right people at the right time, and let's hope that works out okay for the Vikings. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a bit of a timeout, and we will then have the starting lineups and national anthem and all that coming from Spring Valley High School, and we'll have all that right after this timeout. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is... Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings. And we're back with a look in at Spring Valley High School. Rick Olson here along with Dan Petchow, and I'm trying to get the audio to sound the way it's supposed to. And that sounds a little bit better. But we do finally have the feed, and that's terrific. And we again want to thank Spring Valley for providing us the video feed. That's the way we can bring you these remote games. And like I mentioned to you, Dan, this is our final remote game of the 2021 season.
Yeah, what a ride.
It really has been. You know, there was a lot of issue about whether we were going to be able to do road games at all due to COVID and fan restrictions and so on. And some of the schools had said, no, we're just not letting people come in. And one of the schools made the suggestion that we do a remote broadcast using their feed. And I thought, that's brilliant. That was Elmwood Plum City, by the way. I want to give them a shout out for that. And then I approached all the other schools, and they all said, yeah, that's great. Go ahead and do it. And so that's what we've been able to do, and that's how we've been able to bring you the road games for both the boys and the girls this year. And I really want to thank the schools in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference and the non-conference schools, as far as that goes, for being so accommodating and allowing us to do that. And hopefully next year we get to be at the schools. It really does make a difference. It's tough calling these games. Yeah, they're giving us a nice video feed tonight, and it looks really good. But watching players and numbers on a video screen is not the same as being there seeing it live.
Yeah, they've done really good, and we had to make some adjustments, but overall it worked really good this season.
So far, so good, and this is the last one that we've got lined up. And now coming up next week, well, the rest of this week, we do have a game coming up on Thursday, the boys' game against Durand, which is in Colfax. And then next week, well, actually, let's not go that far down the line. Let's take a look at this week, Friday. We have the Colfax girls taking on the Regis Ramblers. We will not have it on NLWN-TV or the Northern Light Webcasting Network, but it will be carried on Viking TV, which is at the school website, and then just click on the link. And we'll have that one for you. And Dan and I will be calling the play-by-play on that for Viking TV. They've given us a lot of help this year. Big shout out to Jeff and his good camera work that he's done at all the home games this year. And then next week, Tuesday, we have these boys are going to be taking on the Augusta Beavers in Colfax. And again, that will be on Viking TV, and Dan and I will be there to call the play-by-play for that. So even though we're done on NLWN-TV for basketball, we're not done calling basketball yet.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, NLWN-TV is not done by any stretch either. Looks to me like we are getting ready for some national anthem. And Spring Valley does have a play-by-play announcer. Hopefully he's done talking, and here's the national anthem.
And we are ready for the national anthem and the starting lineups.
And it looks like they've cut their audio feed for the national anthem, and so we're just going to stay with the look of the flag and know in our hearts that they're playing the national anthem, and we would also like to take a moment to salute those members listening around the world on the internet, watching us on the internet, who are serving their country in the armed forces. I remember when I was in the Army and stationed over in Germany, one of my favorite things was turning on the Packer games and being able to hear it and hear the Packer announcers call the games. And just a little taste of home. And so we hope we're bringing that for some of our service members who are over there now. Well, I've checked all of our feeds, and we're getting exactly the same thing on every feed. And I've got a funny feeling their feed may have frozen. And so we're hoping that we can get it back. I keep trying to reconnect. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a bit of a time out and at least get some of our paid sponsors taken care of. And we'll get you basketball action as soon as we can.
You're tuned to the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. We use advertising revenue to make this service available to you. If you have a business and would like to get your message out to our ever-increasing audience, give us a call at 715-563-1749. We'll be happy to discuss our budget-friendly advertising packages with you. Get your business noticed on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV by calling 715-563-1749. NLWN-TV is excited to present NWARCI's racing action. Next Saturday, February 13th, we will present racing from Cal's Resort on Rockdam Lake in Willard, Wisconsin. Join us at 10:45 a.m. from Rockdam Lake in Willard. If internet bandwidth issues prevent us from getting a signal out of Rockdam Lake, we will air the races at 11 a.m. on Sunday, February 14th. These races are sponsored by Cal's Rockdam Resort in Willard. That's NWARCI's racing action on Saturday, February 13th on NLWN-TV.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
And we do have some basketball action going on. No score so far in the game. Vikings have the ball. They get it down underneath, and the shot goes up. It's no good by Gibson. And down the floor come the Spring Valley Cardinals. So I don't know what happened to their signal, but it locked up for a little while. But we've got it, and we haven't really missed anything. Vikings are up 3-0. Scoreboard was a little bit behind. And feed down along the baseline. They kick it back out high to Bednarik. He drives into the lane, loses control of the ball, and he got fouled on his way in. He's going to go to the line for two. Brady Bednarik, the 6-foot junior guard for the Spring Valley Cardinals. Thank you for sticking with us. We tried all kinds of different ways to get that feedback. First shot by Bednarik is good. Toes the line. Second shot on the way. Yeah, it's good. 3-2, Vikings up by 1. Heidorn brings it down the floor for the Vikings. Takes it over to the left side. Comes back to the top of the key. Feeds it over to Erickson on the right. High, wide, and right. Takes a couple dribbles. Pulls up the dribble. Gets it over to Hoffman. And he took an extra step. Ball's going to go over to the Cardinals. And down the floor come the Cardinals. Bednarik on the dribble. They feed it down underneath, and the shot goes up and in. That was Nolan Stans with the two-pointer. Quickly coming down the floor are the Vikings. Heidorn with it. Get it over to Gibson. Drives into the lane. Puts the shot. No, he kicks it out to Erickson. Puts up the three. No good. Rebound. Chased down by the Vikings. Hajdukovic with it. Feeds it down into the corner. Shot goes up and in. That was Noah Heidorn with that one. And down the floor come the Vikings. Or the Cardinals, I should say. Bowman with it. Feeds it over to the left side to Bauer. Bauer out high to Ducklow. Ducklow feeds it over to the left side. Three-pointer on its way. No good by Bednarik. And down the floor come the Vikings. Heidorn feeds it off to Gibson. Long three-pointer. He hit that one all the way from the suburbs. I didn't know they had suburbs in Spring Valley, but that's where Gibson shot that one from. 8-4, Vikings up by 4, and here comes Spring Valley. Bauer on the dribble. He got it over to Bednarik on the right. He feeds it down low. Shot goes up, no good. Rebound taken down by Hajdukovic. Gets it over to Heidorn. Takes it straight down into the lane. Out to Gibson. Gibson down into the corner to Hajdukovic. Or to Heidorn, check that. He drives in, puts it up, no good. Rebound taken down by Bednarik. Feeds it down the floor. Shot goes up, it's no good, but he was fouled on the way up by Tanner Hoffman, sending Connor Ducklow to the line for the Spring Valley Cardinals. That's the second foul on the Vikings. And Ducklow has the ball. First shot on its way. It's good. Three in, three out for the Vikings. Ducklow has the ball again for his second shot. It's on the way, off the front of the iron, no good. Rebound taken down by Spring Valley. He goes up with it. We have a whistle and a foul. Coach Knoll didn't like that call. I think it was on Hajdukovic, Nathan Hajdukovic. That's the third foul on the Vikings. First shot is up and around and off. No good. Mike Bauer at the line. Our second shot is nothing but net that time. 8-6, Vikings up by 2. And down the floor come the Vikings. Hajdukovic takes it down the right side, puts the shot up, and Spring Valley gets the rebound. Quickly down the floor they come. Bednarik down into the right corner. Gets it back out high. They feed it over to Bowman. Shot from the lane, no good. They get the rebound, put it up and in. I believe that was Brady Bednarik on the rebound. Well, maybe not, now that I look at it. But the Vikings have it. Hajdukovic out between the circles. Feeds it over to the right side. Now back over to the left side. Albright had it. Got it over to Erickson. Erickson drives to the lane, then kicks it out to Albright. Albright on the right side. He's on the right wing, and we have a timeout called. So with a timeout on the floor, you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Rick Olson along with Dan Petschow Looking in at Spring Valley High School, we are all tied up at 8. And the Vikings inbound the ball. Heidorn with it. Feeds it over to Reback. Then over to Lenz. Now out at the top of the key and over to Heidorn on the right side. Drives into the lane. Puts it up. No good. Rebound taken down by Spring Valley. And down the floor come the Cardinals. Over on the right side is Stans. He gets it out to Bauer. Cross-court pass over to Meyer. And the shot goes up. It went in, and there was a foul on the way up. It's going to send Meyer to the line because he got the harm on the way in. His shot is up, and it's good. 11-8, Spring Valley is up. We have some substitutions coming in for both teams. Hunter Reback is going to inbound the ball for the Vikings. Full court pressure being put on while Reback goes and takes a seat. Drew Gibson coming in. Inbound it to Lenz in the backcourt. Back to Gibson. Gibson on the dribble. Gets it up across the timeline. Feeds it over to the right side to Hajdukovic. Puts it on his hip. Now they get it out high. That's Heidorn with it. Drives into the lane. Feeds it out into the left corner. And now they dribble it back out high. Gibson has it on the left wing. Down to Lenz in the left corner. Drives into the lane. Gets it back out to Hajdukovic from the right wing. Puts up a three. No. Gets rebounded by Lenz. And he's got it on the right side. Feeds it out to Heidorn. Heidorn with it. High, wide, and right. Looking for somewhere to go. And the ball gets knocked out of bounds, and last touch by Gibson, and it's going to go over to the Spring Valley Cardinals. Inbounding the ball is Stasek for Spring Valley. And down the floor come the Cardinals. Meyer has it out high. They feed it over to Bednarik, who fed it underneath. And it was Elijah Dumond on that one. 13-8, Spring Valley Cardinals with the lead. Erickson has it for the Vikings on the right side, gets it out to Gibson between the circles. Gibson drives into the lane, spins, gets it out to Hajdukovic on the right side, drives to the right baseline, tries to feed it across the baseline, and it goes out of bounds. He had it, I think he was intending it for Lenz, and Lenz was cutting in toward the lane and didn't expect the ball to come. I think he was looking to set up for a rebound on Gibson's shot. Here come the Cardinals down the floor. Meyer has it on the left side. Feeds it to Dumont. Then they get it out to the right side. Shot goes up, no good. Rebound put up and taken down by the Vikings, but the ball gets taken away by Spring Valley. Meyer has it. Gets it out to Bednarik. Shot goes up, no good. Or it was a pass, evidently. One of those alley-oop passes. Coming into the lane with a shot is Bednarik, and it is no good. Vikings come down the floor with the ball. Shot goes up, and we're going to get a blocking call. And that foul is on Elijah Dumond. That's the first team foul on the Spring Valley Cardinals. Vikings to inbound. They get it to Gibson in the lane. Turns around, puts it up, no good. Tries to get a putback, doesn't have a chance to do it, but he got fouled trying to put it back up. And Drew Gibson goes to the line to shoot two. 13-8, Spring Valley leading the Vikings. We're in the first half. Unfortunately, like we had with the girls' game when they were here at Spring Valley, we didn't have a clock available to us. First shot by Gibson is no good. So we'll just play basketball till we don't.
Right.
Gibson with his second shot. It's on the way, and that one goes down. Vikings trail by 4, 13-9. Spring Valley inbounds the ball. Bednarik with it. He gets it over to Stasek. Then they feed it into the middle to Ducklow. Now they get it down the floor. It goes over to Bednarik on the right side. Puts up a shot. No good. Rebound gets knocked around. Last touch by Spring Valley. It'll be Viking ball. One thing I've noticed, Dan, it sure looks like Spring Valley is crashing the boards for rebounds.
Yeah, Colfax have to make sure that they box out. Good job by Drew Gibson there to do that on that play.
And the Vikings bring it down the floor. Well, no, they don't, because they call a timeout instead. Timeout on the floor. Spring Valley 13, Vikings 9. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow looking in at Spring Valley High School. Vikings have the ball as they trail by 4. They feed it to Gibson on the left wing. Then over to Hydorn as he takes it down the left side to the corner. Try to get it to Lenz underneath, and he draws the foul. Oh, that's a jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. Nope. One official said it was, but the other one said, no, it's not. So it goes over to Spring Valley Cardinals. They've got it in the backcourt. Bednarik with it. He's on the dribble. Feeds it over the timeline. They get it down into the right corner. They lay it up and in, and I was trying to catch his number as he went by, and he never showed it to us. So the Vikings have it. That was Bowman, by the way. Erickson with a three-pointer for the Vikings is no good. Rebound taken down by Bednarik for the Spring Valley Cardinals. Takes it all the way down the left side. Gets it back out to Bauer. Bauer back over to Bednarik, who kicks it out to Ducklow. Ducklow feeds it underneath to an easy bunny. Stands on the little bunny shot underneath, and it's 17-9. Spring Valley is up by 8. Hydorn with it for the Vikings. High, wide, and right. Drives down towards the lane. Turns around. Puts a shot up and nailed it.
No, Hydorn with 4 points so far.
And the Vikings with full court pressure. Spring Valley gets it across the timeline with Bednarik on the dribble. Feeds it over to the right side. This is Bowman. Back over to Bednarik. Tries to feed it into the lane. It's denied by Gibson. Picked up by Stans. They get it out to Bowman, who puts the shot up. It's no good, but he drew the foul on the way in. I believe it's on Tristan Lenz. Yes. That's the 5th foul on the Vikings. First shot is up, and it's nothing but net for Bowman. Into the Viking lineup is Hunter Reback, replacing Tristan Lenz. Second shot on the way, no good. Rebound taken down by Spring Valley. They feed it out to Bauer, puts up a 3. It's off the mark. Ball gets, well, they didn't save it in. Out of bounds, off of Spring Valley, it'll be Viking ball. And we have a timeout on the floor. With the score, Spring Valley Cardinals 18, Colfax Vikings 11. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
And we're back at Spring Valley High School. We're not. We're remotely back there. And the Vikings should be inbounding the ball. They are. We just didn't have a good shot of that for a moment. Erickson with it on the dribble, brings it up across the timeline. He's on the right wing. He's double teamed, and we're going to get a whistle and a jump ball. This time the possession arrow should be in favor of the Vikings. And it is. Gibson's going to inbound it. Feed it over into the backcourt to Heidorn. He brings it across the timeline between the circles to Gibson at the elbow on the right side to Heidorn. Takes it down into the right corner. Tries to get it down the baseline to Reback. And it's out of bounds off of Reback. It went off his fingertips. And Spring Valley to inbound it. Bednarik to bring it down the floor. Feeds it over to the left side. This is Bowman. Then they get it back out to Ducklow at the top of the key. Then to Bauer. Then out to Stans. Over on the left side to Ducklow in the corner. Cross-court pass over to Stans. Stans has it. Or now Stans has it. Now they get it over to Ducklow. Over to Stans on the left side. Out high to Bednarik. And from near the top of the key, a shot by Ducklow is no good, and it missed everything, went out of bounds. It'll be Viking ball.
Yeah, good job by the Viking defense there to get the turnover.
Gibson inbounds it to Heidorn. Heidorn comes through the backcourt. He's getting some pressure from Bednarik. Gets it across the timeline. Then comes down the right side. Feeds it over to Erickson. Takes it around to the free throw line. Kicks it out to Gibson. Gibson tries to drive, loses control of the ball. Recovers it. Tries to feed it underneath. It goes to Heidorn. He saved it. No, he didn't. He stepped on the end line in the process of trying to save it. I think Erickson was going to be out of bounds anyway when he caught it. So Spring Valley has it. Bednarik to bring it down the floor. 18-11. Spring Valley on top. They've got it over on the right side. Now out high and then back over to the right side. That's Meyer with it. Or Mayer. He drives towards the lane. Kicks it out to Bowman. Puts up a three and he hit it. He hit the three-pointer. 21-11. Spring Valley up by 10. Ducklow with it. Or, no, it's not Ducklow. I got the wrong team here. That was Heidorn with it, and they're going to say Heidorn took an extra step as he was spinning and turning, trying to get the ball off. I don't understand that call, to be honest with you, because he had his dribble going the whole time. But they're saying he traveled. Bednarik with it, feeds it over to the right side. Down into the right corner. Then they get it back out high to Ducklow. Over to Bednarik on the left. Then to Bauer. And now to the right side to Ducklow. Back out high to Mayer. Then down into the right corner. Back out high. That's Bowman with it. Back underneath. The shot goes up by Ducklow. Is no good. Rebound being tipped around. No good. We have a whistle, and it's going to be a foul, I believe, on Spring Valley. I have no idea who the foul is against, but it's the third team foul on the Cardinals. But the Vikings have the ball. They're going to inbound it. Inbound pass being fought for. And it went out of bounds off of Spring Valley. Full court pressure being put on. Ball comes into Erickson in the corner. Gets it back to Gibson coming down the backcourt. He's right in the middle of the backcourt. Feeds it down to the right side, and the Vikings lose the handle on it. It goes out of bounds. This is where full court pressure can cause you some troubles.
Yeah, this is part of the game where Colfax can't turn the ball over too many times.
And we have a timeout on the floor. And so with the score at the timeout on the floor, it's a 10-point game as Spring Valley has a 21-11 lead over the Vikings. Want to remind you that coming up, the next boys game that we're going to carry here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV will be Thursday. And Dan, we're actually going to be there because the Vikings are hosting the Durand Panthers. Viking pregame will begin at 6:55. Live play-by-play will begin at 7:10 right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Also, this Saturday, Dan, I sure hope you've got your warm woolies all ready for this one because it's not going to be very warm, and we're going to be sitting out on the ice with NWIRC ice racing. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'll be a good day.
Chilly, but good. All right, Spring Valley has it on the left side. Now it's out high between the circles. It's Meyer with it. Gets it over to Bowman, and the pass is intercepted by the Vikings, taking it down the floor as Erickson lays it up, and it goes in. He got the shooter's roll to work for him. 21-13. Vikings trying to stay in it. Bednarik with it for Spring Valley. Gets it down to Ducklow underneath, and he laid it up and in. 23-13. Heidorn with it, under a lot of pressure in the backcourt. Gibson has it now. He's coming across, gets it across the timeline, and we get a reaching foul called. That's going to be on Bednarik. He reached around Gibson trying to make the steal. Committed the fourth foul for the Spring Valley Cardinals. Gibson to inbound for the Vikings, gets it back into the backcourt to Heidorn. He brings it across the timeline over to the left side. Now they get it out to Lenz at the top of the key. Drives down to the baseline. Turns. Looking for somewhere to go. Gets it to Gibson on the right side in the corner. Gibson thought about a three. Kicks it out high to Reback. Oh, check that. That's not Reback out there. It's Albright. I saw the 0. It confused me. Now over to Erickson, out to Lenz. Over to Albright, goes right through his hands and out of bounds. I think what's happening sometimes with the Vikings is the speed of the game is making them think about what they're going to do with the ball before they get it caught. You got to catch the ball first.
Yeah, every possession is crucial for Colfax.
It's Bowman driving around the right side. He feeds it over to Ducklow, back to Bowman. Now he's on the left side. Takes it into the lane. Tries to go up. He got the hop. He got away with the hop in there, but the shot is no good. And the pass intended for Albright, it led him too far. It's out of bounds, and it'll go over to Spring Valley. (23-13). Spring Valley with the lead. Bauer to inbound it to Bednarik. Bednarik down the floor over to the right side. They get it back out high to Bowman. Then down underneath the Ducklow. Turns around, puts it up. It's no good, but there was a foul on the way up. So Connor Ducklow to go to the line. 6'3" junior forward. His first shot is good. Get a little bit of substitution action going on. Hunter Reback comes into the lineup, replacing Tristan Lenz for the Vikings. Second shot is on the way. It's also nothing but net. 25-13, a 12-point lead for Spring Valley Cardinals. We're in the first half. Vikings trying to bring it down the floor. Erickson across the timeline. Feeds it out to Gibson. Launches a long three. It's off the iron. No good. Rebound goes out of bounds. It was last touched by Spring Valley. It'll be Viking ball. Gibson again trying that long three-pointer. This one was from high, wide, and right. The one he made was from the left side. Heidorn gets the ball in. Driving into the lane is Hajdukovic. Puts the shot up, and they're saying no, there was a foul beforehand. It was out of our vision. It's a foul on the Spring Valley Cardinals. Pass comes in to Hajdukovic. It goes off of Dumond for Spring Valley, so the Vikings get another crack at it. Heidorn gets it in, and they feed it out to Gibson, high, wide, and left. Out to Heidorn, out very high. Takes it over to the left side. Heidorn from around the free throw line, down into the left corner. Three-pointer goes in. Hunter Reback with the three-pointer. Down the floor come the Vikings. I think that was Reback that made that. I thought it looked like a 30. And answering with a three-pointer of his own is Tyler Bowman. For the Spring Valley Cardinals, Heidorn with it. 28-16. Spring Valley with the lead. And we're going to get an offensive foul, a charge being called against the Vikings. It was Heidorn with the foul and a timeout on the play. So with a timeout, you're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
And Rick Olson and Dan Petchow back here, taking a look into Spring Valley High School. Vikings trail by a dozen, and Spring Valley will have the ball. They inbound it. Bednarik brings it down the floor, gets it down into the left corner. Three-pointer goes up and in, and that was by Corey Stasek. And that's the end of the first half. With the score, Spring Valley 30, Vikings 16. And you are tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Coming up next is Viking Halftime.
Time now for Viking Halftime with this week's edition of Viking Profile and the Colfax High School Report. That's all coming up following this brief timeout.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're talking with Caden Erickson, and Caden is a senior at Colfax High School, and we're going to get to know Caden a little better right after this timeout.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
We're talking with Caden Erickson on Viking Profile. And Caden, we know that you play basketball, but what are some other things that you're involved with here at school?
I play quite a bit of baseball. I am in the bands and the choirs that assemble here.
Okay, now when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of experience have you had?
I started playing back in 4th grade whenever we started doing our school ball events and stuff like that. And then I didn't play in middle school at all. And then I just started back up my freshman year. So.
Okay, and you've learned to really like it.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy it. Yeah, I wish I at the middle school, but.
So when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you interested or occupied?
I work quite a bit at Pleasant Valley Tree Farm, Elk Mound over there, so that keeps me busy. Keeps me out of trouble. So
lots of fresh air.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, and it is a pretty busy time of year too.
Yeah, it is.
All right, here I've got a few rapid fire questions for you. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Pie.
Which kind?
Chocolate silk.
Ooh, those are really good. All right, your favorite color and why?
Blue. I'd have to say just because, I don't know, because
that's what I'm wearing, right?
Yeah,
there we go. That's a
No,
good reason.
Beautiful color, yeah.
Now, if you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Be night vision, I think. And I can be at all times and not have to worry about, if it's light or dark. So.
Okay. Now, do you have a favorite NBA or WNBA team?
The Bucks, for sure.
Okay. How about a favorite collegiate team?
I'm a big Texas Tech guy, I think. So
Okay.
I watch quite a bit of those.
We're talking with Caden Erickson here on Viking Profile. And Caden, what are your plans for after high school?
And on pursuing a degree of biology. I do not know where yet, but somewhere, that'll be a good college exposure and good experience. So.
Okay. How about a shout out to your family?
Hi, Mom and Dad. How's it going?
Now, when people watch Viking games here on NLWN-TV, what number do you wear and what position do you play?
I wear number 15, and I'm a shooting guard / point guard.
Okay, we want to thank Caden Erickson for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Time now for the Colfax High School Report with an update about what's happening at Colfax High School.
At Colfax High School last week, the Viking girls basketball team was crowned Dunn St. Croix Conference champions for the 3rd year in a row. Following Viking victories over Spring Valley and Durand, the Vikings finished the regular season with a 13-3 overall record and 13-1 conference record. Congratulations to the champion Colfax Viking girls. Now, the Viking boys had 3 games last week and finished the week winning 2 out of the 3. They defeated Boyceville 75-53 and followed that up with a 60-55 victory over Glenwood City before losing to Mondovi 82-37. The week's action left the boys with a 6-9 overall record and an even 6-6 in the Dunn St. Croix Conference. Now, coming up this week, the Viking girls begin WIAA regional tournament action on Friday when they host the Regis Ramblers. Should the girls win that game, they will play again on Saturday against an opponent yet to be determined at either Fall Creek or Colfax. The Viking boys are scheduled to travel to Spring Valley on Monday to host Durand on Thursday, which will wrap up the 2020-2021 regular season. We'll have both games on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV, with Viking pregame beginning at 6:55 and live play-by-play at 7:10. Also this week, the middle school girls basketball team will host the Boyceville Bulldogs on Tuesday. Don't forget that this week is also Winter Carnival Week at Colfax High School. Now, next week, the Viking boys will begin their WIAA regional tournament action on Tuesday, February 16th, when they host the Augusta Beavers. Should the boys win that game, tournament action will continue on Friday at Fall Creek. If the Viking girls have not been defeated, next week they will begin WIAA sectional play with a berth at the state tournament on the line. Also next week, parent-teacher conferences will be held on Monday and Thursday from 4 to 8 p.m. on each evening. Parents, you are a very important part of your child's education team, so please be sure to attend the parent-teacher conferences on either Monday or Thursday. In addition, next week, the Middle School Science Olympiad Regionals will be held in Boyceville on Saturday, February 20th. And one more thing, might be the most important, there will be no school on Friday, February 19th. That's what's happening at Colfax High School for the week of February 7th through the 13th, and then some.
You've been tuned to the Colfax High School Report with an update about what's happening at Colfax High School. Stay tuned. Coming up next is more Viking halftime and then second half action.
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's Viking game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
And Rick Olson, along with Dan Petchow, taking a look in at Spring Valley High School. Teams are over at the benches now. We're just getting ready to get things going here in the second half. And waiting for the teams to come out on the floor. Who we got for leading scorers for both teams here, Dan?
Yeah, for Spring Valley Cardinals, their leading scorer right now is number 12, Tyler Bowman. He has 11 points. For the Colfax Vikings, their leading scorer right now is number 15, Caden Erickson. Looks like we got a little bit of time, so I'll give off a couple more. For the Spring Valley Cardinals, their second leading scorer is number 2, Connor Ducklow. And for the Colfax Vikings, their second leading scorers, we got 2 of them, 23, Noah Heidorn, and 33, Drew Gibson.
Waiting still for the Cardinals to come out on the floor. It appears as though the Cardinals will have the ball to start the second half. And that's what's going to happen. Bauer to inbound for the Cardinals. Looks like he's going to get it over to Bednarik. That's the way it's going to start. And that's exactly what he does. Bednarik has it in the backcourt. Brings it into the forecourt. Spring Valley with that 14-point lead. Bednarik over to the right side. Gets it out high to Bowman. Drives into the lane. Lays it up, and it goes in. Through a lot of traffic that time. 32-16. Vikings inbounded. Erickson has it. Gets it over to Heidorn. Heidorn brings it down the floor. Feeds it forward. They try to get it to Gibson. Bounces away, and Spring Valley comes down with it. Bednarik feeds it over to Bowman. He's at the free throw line. Now takes it out high, wide, and right. Feeds it into the lane to Ducklow. And he gets it out to Bauer. Bauer drives in, puts it in, got the foul.
Follows at number 21, Tanner Hoffman.
That's a first team foul on the Vikings this half. And Mike Bauer goes to the line. And his shot rattles home. 35-16. Vikings inbound it. Heidorn has it in the backcourt. Brings it up across the timeline. Takes it towards the lane. Feeds it out to Hoffman at the top of the key. Launches his three, and he hit it. He had to call the bank and get the loan on that one, but he got it. 35-19. Vikings trailing. Spring Valley has it on the right side. They get it back over to the left. That stands. Takes the shot from there. It's off the back of the iron. Gibson comes down with a rebound. Down the floor he comes. Feeds it forward. They get it into the corner. Driving in is Erickson. He tries to go up, and they get called. They've got a jump ball being called. Mike Bauer grabbed hold of the ball as Erickson went by and tied it up. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. Heidorn inbounds it to Hoffman. Spins around, trying to go somewhere with it, and got in a little bit of trouble over in the corner, and Connor Ducklow gets called for the foul. So the Vikings inbound it. Shot goes up. It's no good. That was Erickson on the shot. Down the floor comes Spring Valley. Bauer with it, feeds it down underneath. The shot goes up and no good. Rebound taken down by the Vikings. Gibson lost control, but Hajdukovic picks it up, cross-court pass over to Erickson on the right side. They feed it back out to Hoffman, who tries to take it in the lane, lost control of the ball. Spring Valley has it. It's scrum for, and we're going to get a timeout call by the Spring Valley Cardinals. Got a little sloppy that time, but we have a timeout on the floor. With the score, Spring Valley 35, Vikings 19. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color-coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow, and we are taking a look in at Spring Valley High School. Our video feed is reminding me of the old character Max Headroom.
Right, yeah.
It looks like something you'd see out of the Back to the Future Part 2.
Yeah, it's got kind of funky here in the second half.
We have a delay for some reason over by the scorer's bench, but it's out of our range of vision. Now we're ready to get going. Spring Valley inbounds it, and this is Bednarik down the floor. Gets it over to the near side to Meyer. Out high to Bowman. Then they feed it over to the right side. Down to Stans. Turns around. Kicks it out to Bednarik. Then to Bauer. Bauer gets it back out high again to Meyer. To Bowman. This is Stans driving down, then out to Meyer. To Bednarik. And then a shot by Bowman. Three-pointer goes in. 38-19. Spring Valley on top as the Vikings bring it across the timeline. Erickson with it on the left side, gets it out to Gibson, puts up a three. No, it's off the glass, and Spring Valley brings it down. Bednarik on the right side, feeds it into the lane, turn around, goes in. That's Nolan Stans with the shot. 40-19. Spring Valley with a 21-point lead. Down the floor comes Heidorn. Heidorn takes it to the lane, gets it out to Gibson on the left side. To Hoffman. Circles into the lane. Hook shot goes up, no good. Rebound taken down by Spring Valley. Long feed down the floor. And now they take it over into the left corner. Now get it out to the free throw line to Bednarik. Bednarik turns around in the lane, puts it up, and it goes in. Spring Valley's hitting all their shots. Vikings are not. 42-19. Vikings down by 23, which is the number of the person with the ball. Heidorn with it. Noah Heidorn across the timeline. Feeds it over into the right corner to Hoffman. And they get tied up down in the corner, and the Spring Valley Cardinals kind of come away with the ball. They bring it over to their right corner. That's Meyer with it. Gets it out to Bauer. Swings it over to the left side to Bowman. Takes it into the lane. Puts a shot up. That one got blocked by Gibson. Down the floor comes Erickson. Trying to take it the length, and he got fouled on his way into the lane. And
follows number 4, Nolan Stands for Spring Valley.
And that's our second team foul. Heidorn to inbound it for the Vikings. Long pass out high to Hajdukovic. He was challenged, but he got it. Now they get it down to Lenz on the baseline, puts the shot up, and it goes in. Tristan Lenz with the shot from the baseline.
Tristan Lenz first 2 points of the night.
Spring Valley with it on the right side. They get it out to Bowman at the top of the key. Feed it over to Meyer, and then down to Bauer on the left side. Bowman now high, wide, and right. Out high to Dumond. Now to Bowman at the free throw line. He backs up to between the circles. Feeds it over to the left side to Stans. And now Meyer has it. They get it out high. They swing it around to the right side, down to the baseline, and Meyer puts up a shot. It's no good. They get the rebound and the putback shot. That was Bauer on the putback. And the Vikings come down the floor. Taking it all the way down is Heidorn. The shot is no good. Rebound chased down by Hajdukovic. It's no good. And here comes Spring Valley back down the floor. Bowman with it. Feeds it over to the left side. Now they have it over on the right side to Stans. Feed it into the lane. It gets knocked around, out of bounds. Last touch by the Vikings. So it'll be Spring Valley's ball. He inbounded out high, wide, and left. Now down to the baseline. Shot goes up. It's no good. Rebound knocked around. It goes out of bounds off of Spring Valley. It'll be Viking ball.
Yeah, good job by number 30, Hunter Reebok, to box out there and get the turnover.
Hajdukovic brings it down the floor for the Vikings. He crosses the timeline, gets it over to Heidorn on high, wide, and right. He takes it into the free throw line. Now takes it over to the left side, gets it out high to Reebok. Reebok drives on the right side of the lane, puts it up, no good. Rebound taken down by Reebok. He puts his putback shot, is no good. Ball gets tipped around underneath, and Spring Valley comes away with it. And down the floor comes Bauer. Feeds it down the right side to Meyer. Back out high to Dumond. Then over to Meyer down on the right wing. To Bowman. Over to Meyer. And they're going to say Meyer walked. And I was kind of wondering about that because I saw a little bit of a foot shuffle there as he caught the ball before he did anything with dribbling. And he gave the official a look like, what do you mean? Yeah, he did. Heidorn with it for the Vikings, gets it in bounds. They pass it right back to him. Heidorn to bring it down the floor, feeds it, tries to get it to Erickson, but the ball's intercepted by Spring Valley. Feed it down underneath, and we've got to have a basket made by Dumond, and he drew the harm at the same time, and he's going to go to the line for one more.
Yeah, follows number 23, Noah Heidorn for Colfax.
Just a little over-aggressive reaction to that. Dumond's shot is on its way, and it's good. 47-21. 26-point lead for Spring Valley. Erickson has it for the Vikings. Coming through the backcourt, feeds it down into the forecourt, They get it out to the top of the key. Three-pointer goes up by Heidorn, is no good. Rebound, knocked around, kicked back out to Heidorn. Lenz has it on the right side. Feeds it down into the corner to Gibson. Back out high to Heidorn. Now Erickson has it. Yeah, that wasn't Gibson before either. It was Erickson. But from that far corner, it's kind of hard to tell. Coming down along the baseline, trying to go up with it, and evidently it's just a... Oh, they're going to call a foul on Reebok?
Must be. Because he did call a foul. I don't know about that one. I thought I saw him throw up the charging call, and I didn't understand it.
Well, anyway, Spring Valley has the ball on the right side. They feed it down underneath. Shot goes up. It's no good, but they get their own rebound. They kick it out high. And a shot by Stasek is no good. And the rebound this time taken down by Lenz, but it gets knocked out of his hand by Spring Valley.
Follows on number 5, Coy Stasek for Spring Valley.
And as they were chasing the ball down, there was a move that that Tristan Lenz put on to make sure that the ball went out of bounds with Viking possession. He did a nice little hip check into Stasek. You know how those work, right?
Yeah, maybe make a little hockey player.
Lenz has it for the Vikings. Tries to feed it over to Erickson, who lost control of it but got it back. Gets it over to Heidorn, brings it through the backcourt and across the timeline. Takes it over to the right side. Coming down along the baseline, that was Hajdukovic, and he tried to put a shot up, and it was not a very good-looking shot, and Spring Valley comes right down the floor and puts it up and in. That shot was by Ducklow.
Ducklow with 6 points so far.
Vikings get it across the timeline to Gibson, then to Lenz, trying to drive the baseline, but they're going to say he traveled. And the ball's going to go back over to Spring Valley. 49-21. And we have a timeout on the floor. With the score, Spring Valley Cardinals 49 and the Vikings 21. Say, I want to remind you that the Viking girls are going to begin WIAA playoff action on Friday. Actually, we should say the Dunn St. Croix Conference champion Viking girls are going to begin playoff action on Friday, February 12th, when they host the Regis Ramblers. And the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV will not have that game or any other WIAA playoff games. However, you can view the game on Viking TV simply by going to the school website and click on the Viking TV link. Game time is at 7 o'clock. Dan and I will be there to give you the play-by-play action of that game. And I'm looking forward to that one. And they're taking on the Regis Ramblers, and the Vikings haven't lost since they were defeated by the Ramblers earlier this year. And I think they would like to do double duty, earn a trip to Fall Creek to play the Crickets, which is the likely opponent.
Yeah, that was a tough-fought game there, Colfax Regis, early in the season. So there's a little redemption coming here.
And the Vikings have come a long way since that game, so this might be an interesting matchup. Anyway, Spring Valley has the ball. They bring it down the floor. Feed it over to the left side. Now they get it out high. That's Stasek. Now they feed it over into the right corner. Then back out high to Ducklow. Ducklow drives into the lane, puts up the shot. It's good. 51-21, a 30-point game. Heidorn with it. Tries to feed it into the forecourt. Gets it to Gibson. Now over into the corner. Long shot, no good. Rebound fought for by Erickson and Bauer, and they're going to call a jump ball, possession arrow in favor of Spring Valley. And the Cardinals bring it down the floor. Cardinals trying to secure at least a tie for the conference championship with a win tonight. And a shot from the corner is good, a three-pointer. 54-21, Cardinals on top. Down the floor comes Noah Heidorn for the Vikings. They feed it over to the right side. Get it out high to Lenz, just inside the arc, feeds it down to the baseline. Shot goes up, it's good. And drawing the foul at the same time is Caden Erickson. He's going to go for the hard way to get the three-pointer. Erickson at the line. Free throw on the way, off the back of the iron is no good. Goes out of bounds, and it was last touch by the Vikings. 54-23. Vikings trailing. Down the floor come the Cardinals. Stasek has it. He gets it out high. That's Dumond. Then they feed it to Bednarik in the lane. Down underneath. Turnaround shot. That was Dumond on that shot. Of course, we had the jiggle on the screen at the same time. Try to read a number in that. Vikings feed it down the floor, and it gets stolen by Spring Valley. They come back down, get it over to Bednarik on the right side. Then he feeds it towards the lane to Dumond. He tries to put up a shot, gets blocked by Gibson, and the Vikings feed it to Lenz on the right side. He kicks it out to the left side, and the pass just never got where it was supposed to. Spring Valley takes it down the floor, lays it up and in. Dumond again. He's having a big second half. Down the floor comes Hydorn. Gets it over to Hoffman. Over to Hajdukovic from the left side. Shot is up, no good. Rebound taken down by Spring Valley. Down the floor they come. Bednarik with it on the left side. They get it back out high. Now it's over to Stasek on the right. Down into the right corner. Back out high to Bednarik. Bednarik drives the lane, and we have a whistle. And he's going to go to the line, I believe. They're going to say he was shooting. And I think it was on Hajdukovic. So Brady Bednarik. First shot is good. 59-23. Fouls are even at 4 apiece. And we have a timeout on the floor. So with a timeout on the floor, the score, the Spring Valley Cardinals 59 and the Vikings 23. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like, they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hey!
Okay. If you love me enough to tolerate my perfect little pets and all their glorious dander, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
And we're back at Spring Valley as Bednarik is going to take his second free throw. 59-23. Spring Valley on top. Shots on the way. No good. Rebound chased down by Hajdukovic for the Vikings. He brings it across the timeline. Gets it over to the left side to Erickson. Erickson feeds it down into the right corner to Hajdukovic. Back out high to Lenz. Between the circles. Over to Gibson. On the left side, a long three-pointer off the iron, no good. Rebound chased down by Jensen. To Gibson, driving in the lane, puts up the shot, and he's going to go to the line. He drew the foul.
Of course, Stasek on the foul for Spring Valley.
So Gibson shooting 2. First shot on the way, it's good. Nick Jensen into the game for the Vikings. Now coming in, replacing Erickson is Heidorn. Gibson with his second shot, it rolls around and goes in.
Gibson with 6 points so far tonight.
59-24, Vikings down by 25. Or 59-25, and that's more than 25. 31 they're down by. No, I'll figure out the math later. Spring Valley has the ball. At the top of the key is Connor Ducklow. Yeah, it's 34. Thank you, Dan. Feed it down underneath, and then they kick it back out high to Ducklow. Using up a lot of clock right now. They feed it over to the right side to Stasek. To Bednarik. Underneath to Bowman. He lays it up and in. 61-25. Vikings coming down the floor with it. Heidorn gets it over to Gibson. Drives into the lane. Spins. Puts the shot up and he banks it in. Drew Gibson with another shot. 61-27. Bednarik feeds it off to the right side to Meyer. And back out high to Ducklow. Then to Bednarik into the lane. Shot goes up by Bowman is no good. Rebound gets tapped around and coming away with it to Spring Valley. Ball gets taken away from Bednarik, but he chases it down. And down into the lane he goes. He lays it up and in. Vikings almost had a steal. Bednarik got the ball back and then drove it right down the lane. Down the floor comes Heidorn. He feeds it over to Gibson, high, wide, and left. Gibson drives into the lane, puts the shot up. It goes in. And they're going to get him for a charge. So, no basket that time for Gibson. Spring Valley will have the ball. 63-27, time winding down. Unfortunately, we just don't know how much there is. Down the floor come the Vikings, or come the Cardinals. They feed it over to the right side. Now out to the top of the key. Whole bunch of new players in there. That one I have no number for. Number 30, we'll just call him. They feed it out high to Bowser. Then over to Dumond, who tries to feed it into the lane. We have a whistle and a foul. Or check that, it's out of bounds. Last touch by the Vikings. Inbounding it is Mike Bauer for Spring Valley. Waiting for all the substitutes to take place. They get it into Dumond. Feed it over to the right corner. Now they swing it around the outside to Bowser. Bowser drives down to the right baseline, puts the shot up. It's no good. Rebound taken down by Spring Valley. They kick it out high to Bauer. Bauer over to Bowser. Back to Dumond. Then they feed it over to Stans. And then down underneath the 30, tries to put the shot up. And it's no good, but he's going to go to the line. Yeah, we don't have a number for him. His shot is up, no good. And his second shot.
Lenz the rebound.
And Tristan Lenz rebounds it, gets it over to Albright. Getting a little bit lost here. They get it over to Ensminger on the left side. Feed it down into the left corner. That's Knutson. And they feed that over into the right corner to Jensen. Puts his shot up. It's no good. Rebound by Lenz. Puts it up, and it goes in. Tristan Lenz with another one.
Tristan Lenz with 4 points.
And down the floor come the Spring Valley Cardinals. They feed it off to the left side. Number 30 has it. They give it over to Blake Bowser. Tries to go down, went up. You know, Dan, that either had to be a travel or a jump ball.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a foul because he just kind of stopped on the play. Bowser did.
But he went up in the air and came back down again,
Right.
and nothing happened. That had to be something. Anyway, Spring Valley has the ball. 30 has it, puts it up. He got the shot. And we have a timeout on the floor with evidently we don't. Maybe it was just enough of a timeout to get some benches cleared. We're going to keep it right here. Vikings have it. They inbound it to Ensminger, who brings it down the floor. Elijah Ensminger drives to the free throw line. Gets it over to the left side to Lenz. Down to Jensen, back out high. Down into the corner, and then back out high to Knutson. Feeds it down to Lenz. Puts it up, no good. Rebound taken down by Spring Valley. Down the floor they come. Over to the right side. That's also somebody I don't have the number for. It's 25. He puts a shot up from the corner. It's good. (68-29). And Sminger feeds it over on the right side. And they feed it down on the baseline to Lenz. Puts a shot up, and it crawls in. It just crawled over the front edge of the rim and found its way down. 68-31. Spring Valley to bring the ball down. That's Gavoronsky. Now they get it out to 32. I don't have a 32 either. And they feed it over to 11. That's Blaine Gregg. Out to 32 again. And then over to the left side to 25. I don't have a number bigger than 24. So over to Gregg. Then 32 puts a shot up from just inside the arc, and it's good. 70-31. Down the floor, and we have a timeout being called. Oh, they've got a substitution coming in. So Ensminger to inbound it. They get it over to the right side, feed it underneath to Jensen. Now the shot is no good. Rebound taken down by Spring Valley. They feed it down underneath. Shot goes up, and it's good by number 25. Again, we don't have his name. And down the floor come the Vikings. Knutson with a long three. He hit that three-pointer. Max Knutson with a three-point shot. 72-34. 25 gets it over to Gavoronsky. They feed it into the lane, coming down through the lane. I'm trying to see his number, 15. So that was Colin Anderson with the shot for Spring Valley. Ensminger loses a handle on the ball, finally picks it up, gets it over to Lenz. Lenz high, wide, and right, feeds it over to the left side. Almost an over and back. They get it to Ensminger, to Jensen, and we have a whistle. And it is the end of the game with the final score, Spring Valley 74 and the Vikings 34. We'll have a Viking postgame coming up right after this timeout. You've been tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Thank you for joining us for Colfax Viking Boys Basketball. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Post Game, where we'll take a look back at today's Viking game.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Time now for Viking Post Game, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. And now, Viking Post Game.
And we're back here in our NLWN-TV studios. And we're getting some echo here that I wasn't quite expecting, but that's okay. We don't have a whole lot to deal with on that. Vikings go down to defeat to the Spring Valley Cardinals by a score of 74-34. So that was a tough one for the Vikings. They fall to 6-7 on the season in the conference, and hopefully they can even up that conference record on Thursday when they take on the Durant Panthers and finish the season at 500, which is actually better than what they were projected to do. So it's been a positive season, but it's kind of hard to put a positive spin on tonight's game.
Yeah, you just never know with a new coach and new playbook and how everybody's going to react to it and whatnot. And 500 season's not that bad.
Right. So, Dan, why don't you tell us how we got to that score?
Here's the scores for the Spring Valley Cardinals tonight. They got quite a few. Their leading scorer was number 12, Tyler Bowman, with 18 points, followed by number 21, Elijah Dumond, with 14. And then we go Connor Duckle with 9. We have Brady Bednarik with 7. We have Nolan Stans with 6. We have number 25, he had 5 points. We had Mike Bauer with 4. And then we had Charlie Mayer, number 13, he had 3 points. And then we had Coy Stasek, Colin Anderson, number 30 and number 32 with 2 points each. For the Colfax Vikings, their leading scorer tonight was number 33, Drew Gibson, with 8 points, followed by Caden Erickson with 7. Tristan Lenz had 6. Noah Heidorn had 4. And then we had Max Knutson, Tanner Hoffman, and Hunter Reebok with 3 points each.
And that comes out to 74-34. Vikings take it on the chin tonight to the Spring Valley Cardinals, who have assured themselves of no worse than a tie for the conference championship in the Dunn St. Croix Conference. I'll tell you what, we're going to come back for some final thoughts right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Post Game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
NLWN-TV is excited to present NWARCI's racing action. Next Saturday, February 13th, we will present racing from Cal's Resort on Rock Dam Lake in Willard, Wisconsin. Join us at 10:45 a.m. from Rock Dam Lake in Willard. If internet bandwidth issues prevent us from getting a signal out of Rock Dam Lake, we will air the races at 11 a.m. on Sunday, February 14th. These races are sponsored by Cal's Rock Dam Resort in Willard. That's NWARCI's racing action on Saturday, February 13th on NLWN-TV.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
And Rick Olson and Dan Petchow back in our studios. And Dan, the Vikings drop 174-34, but they've got to get their heads up and be ready to play come Thursday, because Durand is also fighting for a conference championship.
Yeah, Spring Valley came to play tonight. A lot of the points that I said at the beginning of the game, Colfax didn't do it. Spring Valley found their way to the hoop.
And the Vikings couldn't get their shots to drop. Spring Valley could. Everything Spring Valley put toward the basket, it went right down the hole.
Yeah, and Spring Valley got second chance points.
A lot of those. Yeah, they just dominated the rebounds, and the Vikings have got to do a better job on the board. And if they want to stay in the game with Durand and make that one something, the Vikings have something to play for in that game. A 500 record is nothing to sneeze at for, as you said, first-year coach, new system. Now, granted, Coach Knoll, it's not his first year coaching. He's got plenty of coaching experience. But it's his first year in Colfax doing it, and it's the first year for those guys to play under his system. And you got to develop a culture, and you also have to develop that culture that where you go on the floor, you don't care who it is, and you expect to win. And I'm not sure that that's what's going on right now with the Vikings.
Yeah, just some little small things that need to be cleaned up on. Their passing, turnovers, hit some free throws, and they're right back in it every game.
Right, and make some of those shots, box out a little better on rebounds, and at least play reasonably even on the boards, and because that didn't happen tonight. And they have the size to do it. Now, granted, Spring Valley is pretty big. Of their starting lineup, they had only one player that was under 6 feet. But the Vikings, they're kind of in the same boat. They had nobody in their starting lineup under 6 feet. The Vikings were every bit as big as Spring Valley. They just have to get their bodies into position and get those rebounds. And the one thing we noticed a little bit earlier too, if the ball's coming to you, catch it first.
Yep.
Because it doesn't do any good if you had a great plan, a super spectacular play was going to happen, if you don't catch the ball and it goes flying out of bounds. Because you don't get the chance to make that play then.
Yeah, know your court, know where all your players are, find them, but find them before you pass the ball.
That's a lot to do, and the Vikings are going to have to figure out a way to make that happen against Durand on Thursday night. But we're going to be there.
Yeah.
We'll be there. We'll be covering that game Thursday night from Colfax High School. That game, Viking pregame, starts at 6:55 and live play-by-play at 7 o'clock. Other things coming up, Viking girls, Friday at Colfax, taking on the Regis Ramblers in WIAA regional action. And we will not be carrying that on the Northern Light Webcasting Network or on NLWN-TV. But we will provide the play-by-play for Viking TV. And so we'll be glad to join you there. You just have to tune in a different location on Viking TV. And the game time for that one is 7 o'clock. Don't forget the NWIRC ice racing coming up on Saturday from Rockdam Lake. That's right down by Willard, Wisconsin. And our live coverage is scheduled to begin at 10:45 on NLWN-TV. Now, a couple weeks ago, we ran into a problem with some bandwidth issues when we were over in the Stanley area. So if we have those kinds of problems at Rock Dam Lake, we'll bring you the races. It'll just be on Sunday at 11 o'clock. But if we're live, it'll be on Saturday at 10:45, and with the possibility of having to move things to Sunday at 11. Either way, Dan, we're going to get cold.
Yeah, it's going to be a little chilly. But
That's okay. We'll just have something warm to eat afterwards or something.
Yeah, right.
And then NLWN-TV, we're going to be carrying classic Wissota racing action, and it's only about a month away. We're going to reprise 7 of the weekend races from the Eagle Valley Speedway with a few added features. And this is to help get you ready for the 2021 racing season. Daytona 500's next week.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're ready for some stock car racing, and we're going to have some of that for you here on NLWN-TV. Classic Wissota racing action starts on March 17th, so make sure you join us for that. So 74-34, Vikings drop one to the Spring Valley Cardinals, who have clinched at least a tie for the Dunn St. Croix Conference Championship. So for Dan Petchow, this is Rick Olson. Don't forget to join us on Thursday. Viking pregame at 6:55, live play-by-play at 7:10. And you've been watching or tuned to Viking postgame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.